Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Friday edition of TVC Breakfast. I am Kemi Fola Adeyemo with Ibrahim Chita.
Kemi, good morning. Did you say thank God it's Friday?
Thank God it's Friday.
Oh, I thought I didn't hear that.
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. And thank God you'll be here tomorrow as well.
Okay, all right, all right. So welcome. The weekend is already upon us. Like somebody was saying, was it Davido now that is credited with that statement? As in, if the weekend would be sweet, you would have known from, say, Wednesday or...
It's actually a Yoruba proverb.
Right.
Yeah.
But then translated, it's so I don't know, but that line just came into my head right now.
So anyhow, what are you saying about the weekend? Are you saying that
it's going to be so. So work mode, of course, and all of that. But yes, it's good to have you join us again. Welcome. We begin this morning, with the report that came about on Thursday, talking about the 5 suspects in the Offa bank robbery. That's the Offa bank robbery case that occurred in Kwara State. Well, these men have now been found guilty of all the charges and sentenced to death by hanging. And it took 6 years before the case could be determined. TVC News' Ibrahim Alege has details.
On the 5th of April 2018, daredevil armed robbers attacked the Offa Divisional Police Headquarters before robbing 5 banks. In the process, policemen and civilians numbering about 30 were killed, while millions of naira were equally carted away. 6 suspects, a policeman, Michael Adiko, Ayuade Akiniboson, Aziz Salaudin, Niji Ogundiran, Ibikunle Ogunleye, and Adeola Abraham, were arrested in connection with the bloody bank robbery. Michael Adiko died in police custody, while the remaining 5 pleaded not guilty, claiming alibi when the trial commenced in November 2018. Delivering judgment, Justice Halima Salman found them guilty of all the counts charged and sentenced them accordingly. The court held that the 5 suspects have no license to carry arms and sentenced them to 3 years imprisonment. On culpable homicide and armed robbery, the court found them guilty and sentenced them to death by hanging.
Armed robbery, murder, that is culpable homicide punishable with death, and unlawful possession of firearm. So those are the 3 basic things. And apart from the conviction, the sentence was also pronounced, and the maximum sentence that the court can pronounce on those 2 capital offenses are the death. They carried death sentence by hanging.
The lead defense counsel, Matthias Emeribe, was not in court, but one of the defense counsel said the judgment was expected and will be appealed.
I am not surprised, and likewise my principal counsel is not in surprise as regards to the judgment of today.
So what will be the next line of action?
Of course, in line with AG or your state against Bilo, it's an automatic appeal. It's an automatic appeal, and definitely it's going to stay. So I think it's one of those things that Mr. Emeribe have started doing, compiling the record and whatever, so that at least we move to the upstairs.
The suspects had been standing trial since November 2018.
It's been 6 years of intense legal battle over this case, and at the end of the day, these suspects have been sentenced to death by hanging. But this may not be the end of it all, as the defense is willing to appeal the judgment. Ibrahim Alige, TVC News, Ilorin.
All right, so there you have it, the 6-year-old case now. Of course, it was such an outrageous development at the time, talking about the bank robbery. At least 30 persons were said to have, been killed in that very, devastating attack, or brazen attack, you could say. Police officers, women.
6 of them.
Men, pregnant women, we are also told. Even the Kwara State government has also spoken concerning the outcome of this very key, very decisive judgment, also lauding the judge for that, judgment, and saying justice has indeed been meted out to the grieving, to those who are still grieving, over the losses, the unwarranted loss of lives from that attack.
We don't know whether this will serve as a closure for those who lost their loved ones.
They may never know
at the time,
indeed.
because at the time it was really, it was as if, the incidents when it happened, people were just wondering how can this happen in Nigeria, especially in a place like Kwara State, and it was just really, really sad. At the time, allegations, counter-allegations, you remember that one of the politicians, notable politicians, was also, linked to it, and then saying, I didn't know anything about this, all of those things. So it's good that they got his judgment, although it's been long time coming, because I feel, why is it that they're just getting the judgment today? And how are we so sure that the punishment will be meted out, to them as soon as possible? Because justice delayed is justice denied, so they say. So I guess their counsel said they are most likely to appeal, because they already knew that that's what's going to happen. So they're most likely to appeal. So if they go on appealing, no one can preempt what the court will definitely do at the end of the day. But one thing is, if truly they are no longer suspect, they are criminals, if they're found convicts rather, so they should,
since they're still entitled to
yes to explore window, right? Yeah, so most definitely if they are found wanting, they should expedite the punishment on them, because that will definitely serve as deterrent to those who are die in the wood, criminals who want to go after people's lives, steal their property, and all of that. So it's really sad, and we pray that we don't get to see that any longer in this country. But then we're still faced with banditry, insurgencies, kidnappers, and all of that. But we should ensure, the government should ensure that the lives and property of people, are well secured.
Right. And what is the essence of, the court's intervention of punishment, punitive measures, to crime, is to serve as a deterrent. But then, some of the things you've said have also, raised up some questions. A 6-year-old trial, is it enough to give closure to those grieving? Because, justice delayed is justice denied.
Absolutely.
The court will tell you it's a three-way traffic. Justice to the defendants. It also has to give justice to the state government, and justice to the complainant, or the wronged person, so to speak. And in this case now, those grieving, those people who lost lives and properties and all of that. And we all know, the average legal calendar, is always fraught with delays. It could come from either side, but most of
we don't know how long this appeal is going to take.
It's usually tabled at the quarters of the defendants, delay tactics and all of that. And yes, the appeal window again, we hear that to get a date now at the appeal court, at the Court of Appeal, probably next year, or at the latter part of 2025 or even 2026.
And they'll be feeding on taxpayers' money. Government will be feeding them and all of that.
The jurists now, the judges, the senior judges, the appellate judges already have so many cases before them. Their dockets are over full. And then the issue of the death penalty. When you sentence people, we have more than almost 4,000 people on the death row. None of them, or a minute number of them, have been eventually executed because of this quote and unquote the moratorium on carrying out convictions, carrying out these executions. Which governor will want to sign? Perhaps looking at what the Kwara State government has done yesterday, maybe it will go on to sign ahead, but then again, they say they might appeal. So that might also be a tactic, from their end now to push backward, or is it forward now, the date. But of course, they are entitled to appeal. We'll wait and see how it all goes. But, for Amnesty International and all other advocates against the death penalty, abolishing it totally,
well, there are still countries that are doing it. China, US just executed someone.
US is in a special category of
some of the countries that are in the forefront of fighting for democracy and all of that. They are still signing death warrants on
but then the reality on ground is that Nigeria falls within the category of countries that haven't been carrying out its execution, despite the fact that it's still in our laws. So where it all goes from here, taxpayers' money in question, the overbrimming facilities, you know, also in question. So, so how then do we want to marry all of this together, and where do we go from here? All of this remains to be seen.